What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of the Hustlepreneur Life Podcast with your host, Dylan. Today we have Eemon and Ashkan, two brothers that are in business together and own Xtremebody Nutrition. They sell smoothies and supplements and do coaching. So I'm very excited to talk to them. They're in their 30s. I think they have a lot to offer and they can inspire some people with their story and just kind of how they run their business. So without further ado, let's get into episode 2. Ashkan, Eemon, what's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Not much.
How you doing?
How's it going with you?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
That's good, man. Yeah, I obviously have you guys on because, you guys are two young guys, owning, your own business. So I really, I obviously work with you guys on a weekly basis, talk to you guys weekly. We talk about different things, obviously. I talked to Eemon a little bit, too, just about kind of future things. He tells me what he wants to do in life. Ashkan, you've mentioned before, just, wanting to move or just do other things also. So, I'd love to learn more about kind of your guys' business minds and what you guys kind of, how you guys make decisions on a daily basis, being business owners and different things like that. So I guess my first question to you guys is kind of tell us a little bit about Xtremebody Nutrition and kind of what that is and what that means to you guys.
You want to go ahead, Eemon?
Go, you do it.
I told you. I told you. But yeah, first off, thanks for having us on. As you already mentioned, my brother and I, we both own Xtremebody Nutrition. We have 2 stores in Tampa, Florida. So your question was, what does the store mean to us, or?
Yeah, like kind of how you guys got started with the store and like what that means to you. Like what's the store represent to you guys?
So it was actually my brother's initial idea to start the store. So he's the one that kind of came up with the idea and brought it to me, and we both kind of just wanted to make it happen. And we worked hard, and believe me, there was a lot of failures that happened, but without that we wouldn't be where we are today. So the stores pretty much mean everything to us. They're our bread and butter, they're our babies. They're something we started from the ground up, and wanted to succeed. So there, to sum it up in to a sentence, it's literally just, that's our baby, that's our child, that's our everything.
When did you guys start? So I guess I should start with that too. I mean, you guys have 2 stores now. You had one obviously, and you opened up a second one. So when did that first one start?
No, the very first one, we actually moved it to what is our main one now. That one was
2013, 2014,
13. Yeah, because I think something like that. I think it's been like 8 years, 7 years ish. So yeah, that was the very first one. And then we thought we had a good concept with that one. We learned a lot from it. And that was right at the time that e-commerce was already big, but it wasn't what it is now. And it was really gravitating towards that. So we decided that in order to be able to have a store, retail and all that, we need to offer something else, like a service that you can't get, which ended up being smoothies, which our first location wasn't allowing us to do. And then B, you had to be like either connected to or within walking distance of a gym. So we ended up moving to what is now the Tampa Palms location. And then that's when we also, I think for 4 years after, we opened the second store. So
Now you guys opened that second store leveraging like the cash flow and everything from the first store? Like you guys saved up your money from the first store to open the second store?
Yeah, correct.
Nice. Now
we got lucky because it was also we've
gotten lucky twice.
Yeah, we had our eye on this location. It was another similar concept before, but I just knew, not to sound rude or anything, but I just knew they weren't going to make it. So we kind of had our eye on that location for a couple of years, and I kind of got word that they were basically going under. So we went after it pretty hard, and then
And being that it was a previous like nutrition and smoothie store, it honestly, it saved us a lot of money from having to build everything from the ground up. So it's basically, essentially, we just took it over and did our concept with it.
That's good. Well, how old were you guys when you started the first store?
14.
14?
Nah, how old were we? I mean, shoot.
I think I was 24.
Nah, you were 26, Eemon. I was 24.
Yeah, so how old are both of you now?
I'm 30.
No.
Yeah,
no,
Eemon, because if it was 2014, that would make me 24. That would make you 26.
Then it wasn't 2014.
It was.
No, because we've had Tampa Palms for over 5 years, and then we were in West Chase for 2 years. So
20,
yeah,
you were 25.
It was 20. Okay. It was 2012 or 2013.
Okay, yeah. So 22, 23.
Yeah.
Now who's in charge of what with the stores? You guys got like who does what kind of jobs for both of you, or kind of what? Give me the lowdown on how you guys break up the responsibilities between you two. Because again, I think I didn't mention this, but you guys can probably tell they're brothers. So obviously these are two brothers in business. I admire that. Me and my brother would have done a lot more with business. I lost my brother unfortunately in 2015 to a car accident. So. But me and my best friend, Nick, who was on the first podcast, we always talk about how, a team we would have made, just kind of like it would have been an indestructible team, if we had each other. So, I mean, give me that relationship between you two and how you kind of, manage it. I mean, it's brothers. Me and my brother fought. Me and my brother did, he was the older brother. He was my older brother. So I guess I'm more in Ashkan's shoes and he would have been more like Eemon. But which I can say I learned a ton from him. Like I learned basically, like he started his business like at 18, like right out of high school. And like I was still, I was 14 and I'm like, oh wow, like I didn't even realize that you could do that. Like at 18, start a business. So like he really opened my eyes to that. So yeah, share a little bit about your guys' relationship.
You want to go ahead?
Okay, well, I'm the older one. I had the concept of opening a store because, to be honest, like I kind of had to do something. I didn't have a whole lot going for me. Didn't finish school, couldn't really keep an actual job. And the last job that I had before opening the store was actually at GNC, but I was already in that world of bodybuilding and exercising. And I actually really loved working there. I just hated working for that company and doing kind of what they tell me to do. So it was kind of like all or nothing for me because he was in school, getting a good degree and doing all that. But I knew that I wasn't able to do it alone. So I had the idea for a while and I would keep talking to my dad and stuff like that. And he was like, okay, we'll develop, like kind of like a plan. Like think of what you're going to do. You can't just say you're going to do it and, do it or whatever. And so I spoke with him, kind of kept thinking about it, learning a little bit, whatever I could from GNC. Obviously, I didn't learn how to run a business or anything. But then, and then I spoke to Ashkan about it and we decided we're going to do it. So, we did it. We opened our very first store with the help of my dad. And then, made every mistake you could think of and like really learn from it. And then as far as doing it with your brother, in our situation, luckily, it's been a blessing. That doesn't come without the trials and tribulations. A lot of arguments, a lot of fights, and all that stuff. But now it's kind of gotten to the point where we kind of understand. But to be honest with you, I think we also just got really lucky because a lot of times when you see people do business with their family, friends, or whatever, I would say like 99% of the time it doesn't go well. So I honestly tell people, even though like we've done it, if I had to do it again, I don't think we would get lucky, like as lucky. So I usually honestly tell people don't involve family, even though, like I said, we've done it, but we've come to a point, but that hasn't come without a lot of trials and tribulations, like a lot. So, but yeah, it's gotten to the point where we kind of understand each other. We have what like what each person's like supposed to do. So I do a lot of the back end stuff. When it comes to like the paperwork, the bills, and all that stuff, payroll. It used to be like, I would say, the majority of the ordering, but now at 2 stores, and we're kind of just each designated to 1 store for the most part now since COVID. The ordering is pretty much half. And then Ashkan's always been in charge of marketing and stuff like that. So
now, is that because you enjoy that? Like, do you enjoy that part of the business? Is that why you kind of took that role? Do you? Because I love that type of business. Like, I'm just now kind of getting more into like the marketing and being okay with like trying to be on camera and stuff like that, or like stuff like it. But me, I love like the business part of it. Like, I love managing the money, the this, the that. Like, that's what excites me.
Are you asking me or Eemon?
Eemon, like, did you choose to? Is that what you chose because you love that part of it?
yeah, I don't like I don't like anything that has to do with like technology, social media, or anything like that. I don't like it. I'm not good at it. So that part was easy. And B, yeah, I like doing a lot of the back end stuff. At first, one of the major issues we had, to be honest, with me being the older brother and just my overall personality, I was very micromanaging, which led to that's what led to a lot of our difficulties. I was very micromanaging. Also because, like I said, I started the idea of this because like I really had nothing going for me. So it was an all or nothing for me. I had nothing to fall back on. So one of the issues that we used to have, like I would tell him is, like, if anything, you have your degrees, you have something to fall back on. I don't. So it kind of like worried me. So I was very like micromanaging. I tried to do probably most of it.
Is that micromanaging or being the big brother?
Both.
Did you feel like you had to look
Probably.
out for him, or you felt like, you didn't want him to be all in just in case it did fail, just as like a protective big brother? Or was it more so just he had already went out and got the degrees?
I don't think it was a protection thing. I think it's just a lot more my personality, to be honest. I'm not like, that's why one of the reasons I can never keep a job. I'm not really good at being told what to do, first of all. And then, yeah, it wasn't so much like of a protection thing. I didn't really think about I mean, I did think about the failure. It was just more so like, I was thinking on my end, because I was like I said, I have to go get a job if something happens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I don't like school, so I wasn't going to go back to school or nothing like that. So I was just being kind of like honest with myself. But then, again, that's what led to a lot of the difficulty. So as we discuss things or whatever, instead of being like stubborn, we actually ended up kind of like learning from each other, more so me learning from him. And then once we kind of like allocated different things, and then I just saw like the business grow. I was like, oh shit, okay. Like this is like perfect. So
I think one thing I want to touch on real quick too is before I kick this over to Ashkan, is that how you mentioned when you worked at GNC, like because I'm a big believer in 9 to 5 still too. Not so much that you need one, but I think if you're going to have a 9 to 5, like use it, learn from it, like see how they run their business, see how they do things, like see this, see that. Like you can learn a lot from having a 9 to 5 just by how they structure businesses, how they do certain things. So I think it was good to point out how you mentioned like when you were at GNC, that's what you did. Like you kind of, you kind of saw some of the stuff. You kind of like got the idea from them. Like you said, you might not have paid too much attention to like the actual business portion of it, but like it gave you the ideas, it kind of sparked some stuff for you. So I think that's, a good thing to point out for people. It's just, if you have a 9 to 5, like, use it to your advantage basically. So now, Ashkan, so I always joke with you that I guess you're the face because are you prettier? Is that why? Or better looking? Is that why you're the face of Xtremebody?
Yeah, that's definitely it. No, it's mostly just like my brother mentioned, like, we had our roles. So now it's kind of like, there's certain things that Eemon would do that, I don't do. Like, it just makes it easier. Like he handles the payroll, he does this, he does that. But it's like now I've taken on a lot more because of the simple fact that I had him to like helped me. So like when we opened the store, you know, I probably relied on him way more than he thinks that he would rely on me. Simple to the fact that I was going to school, but at the same time, you know, I was trying to make this start from the ground up. And also I was trying to learn because, you know, when he thought of this, he thought of it on his own and he did all his research. And when my brother has something in his head, it's not just like a quick thing and it's out. No, he does his full intel research. So he was way ahead of me as far as how to manage a business. So I was in the learning process and it took a lot of time. But now that we have these two stores, it's definitely kind of like, you know, it's back to being like 50-50 because literally the Tampa Palm store, I handle pretty much everything. Now there's certain things that, you know, I ask him, you know, for his advice on, and for the South Tampa, you know that Dylan, because we order from you that, you know, he handles that store. So as far as the marketing, it's, you know, he mentioned it before, you know, he doesn't like that. He doesn't handle it. He won't do it. You won't see him in front of a camera. It's not like that I like it either, but I mean, let's just be honest, it needs to be done. So I do enjoy the marketing. I do enjoy like the editing. I'm not really like amazing or good at it, but it's like, you know, talking in front of a camera, I'm not really that camera shy as I used to be. So it's just more just what you're kind of good at. He's not good at it. He'll admit it. I am. So I do it. It's just like that.
No, I think that's cool. I mean, I follow you guys on Instagram and, you know, I see you guys, I mean, you guys do your thing. I mean, I definitely think you guys have a good following. I think you guys have built a solid business there. You know, what would you guys, is there an end goal? Is there, you know, because the new store is, you know, pretty recent. So, I mean, is there an end goal kind of what's the future hold for you guys? You guys want to open more stores? You guys want to, you know, end up, well, I guess a big thing to point out actually is how much you guys actually work in the stores. You know, it's not so much Eemon's at home crunching numbers and just, you know, working out, chilling. It's not like all you do is, you know, record videos for Instagram. I mean, you guys work, man. So explain that too. I don't think, you know, we've touched on the fact that part of it.
I mean, you got a business mindset, Dylan. You know, just because you're not there, doesn't mean you're not actually there. Right. So, you know, typically my brother and I are there. Well, I mean, when we first started, I mean, we worked Eemon, like, what was it, 99? So it was like, yeah, every day, obviously. And it was just him and I. So it'd be him in the morning, me coming at night, then switch the roles. So we were there, you know, 50, 60, 70 hours a week to start it up. And one of the biggest things I can attest to my brother, and I can speak on his behalf of this, is the impact. You know, our thing, number one thing we wanted is to impact the community. I know this is kind of going off a little tangent, but the ability to be able to hire a couple people and, you know, be able to provide was one of our goals too. So now that we're able to do that, that's a huge, you know, accolade, like a huge goal of ours that we kind of accomplished. But I mean, as far as being at the store, like, I mean, it's on our minds 24/7. Like, before I got on the call with you, I was checking emails, you know, deleting what needed to be deleted, answering what needed to be answered, or, you know, making sure you know, my employees are getting there on time. So it's a 24/7 gig, and anybody that's an entrepreneur, I feel like, would say the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, what's kind of what do you guys see is? Do you guys have an end goal in mind with the business? Like, what's the future hold for you guys with the stores?
I think end goal overall is to diversify in other businesses as well, like different sources of income and stuff like that.
You guys ever,
to be honest with you,
do you guys but keep the stores at the same time and then add other sources and kind of maybe hire more people to really manage the stores, where you guys kind of are a little bit more hands off, or kind of what's the idea with that?
Yeah, potentially that could be an option. We've been talking for a couple of years now about other ways of diversifying. One of the main ones obviously being like do more in like real estate and stuff like that. And then, you know, he dabbles a little bit right now with stocks and stuff, trying to learn a lot before, you know, investing a lot, but trying to learn, you know, playing with that a little bit. That could be another way. And then if those happen to grow, then yeah, obviously, my main goal is I don't want to be at the store every day. But right now I don't really have anything else that is providing an income to where I could be like, okay, I don't have to be there, but maybe, you know, 1 or 2 hours a day or once a week or something like that. So, and I don't like to be home. So yeah, I still go to work pretty much every day, other than the weekends, unless we have to or something. But until we can find something else, which we're getting into slowly, we don't want to just start something full force and all that, and then take our mind away from the store. Because when doing anything, when it comes to business or income, you have to be all in. You can't be half-assed. So we're just going, very slowly, and then kind of seeing where that goes. And but the end game is, I don't, and I will not be at the stores standing there every day.
Now that Ashkan, are you into real estate too? Or is that something you guys are going to try to go in together with again on another venture, or do you kind of have your sights set on other things?
So yeah, for sure. That's definitely a goal of ours. I can say that. My goal is to do more into like cryptocurrency and stocks. I'm pretty big on that. So I've been putting a decent amount in there and seeing how it turns out. I've been studying the market and doing that. So, we definitely both want to do that. So he's getting into the real estate, which, is something I'm going to get into too. And then obviously I'm getting into the stocks, which is something I'm trying to like teach him as I go what to do and how he can go about it. So, but, anything I do, I always have the mindset that it's 50-50. Like anything I get, it's, I always want to include my brother. So no matter what it is.
That's awesome. And that's where I think I relate to you guys a lot, just in that aspect, because I'm also dabbling into investing, learning the stock market. Same thing, just putting a little in just so it keeps me, learning about it. Because obviously if you don't invest anything, then, you're not really invested in it. So I invest a little, obviously not a lot, because I'm not a genius with it either. Like I don't want to lose my money doing it. But, and then real estate too. I mean, that's the end goal for me, I would say, is to leverage my income, get my income up, get my savings up, and really go hard into real estate. I know my family wants to get in real estate also. So,
I mean, it's obvious you have an entrepreneur and business mindset. I know you love working at Europa. You speak very high of it, but it's like, because you guys are full of inventory and stuff. But I know I could tell you have a very business mindset, so I can definitely see you doing something for your own.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing where I got to point out too is like, over the last 3 years, I mean, my 9 to 5 allowed me to have the income to get married, get engaged, buy a house, have a baby, start to build like a savings account, pay off debt, so again, if people have 9 to 5s, man, I'm use it and leverage it. I mean, it's it's okay to have a 9 to 5, but entrepreneurs at heart will always find a way to leverage the 9 to 5. I think that's the main thing. You got to leverage it, and I think that's the main goal.
And some people don't want to like. There's some people don't have that entrepreneur spirit. 9 to 5 or 10 to 6 or whatever the shift is, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, and you can have a 9 to 5, and like you said, I mean, even if you don't start your own business, invest in stocks. Maybe get involved in real estate, because real estate isn't as much of a entrepreneurial kind of like you have to have like a business, but you can still get involved in real estate.
For sure.
When's the last time you guys had 9 to 5?
Before opening my first store.
Yeah, before opening the first store.
So you were GNC, right? Eemon, you were GNC, right?
We both were.
Oh, you both were at GNC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was working there right up until, I mean, for as long as I could. I don't remember exactly when, but that's the only job I never got fired from. So.
Wait. Hold up. You said that's the only job you never got fired from? How many jobs do you have before that?
We both got fired from pretty much every job.
Oh my God. Is that because of non-interest in it, or is that the dog?
Yeah, that's the famous dog.
I was going to ask you what that. I was going to ask you to show the dog, because I figured that was him.
Yeah,
on the toy.
And he's been bothering me right here, and I'm trying to like move him while not making too much noise. But he wants to make his presence known.
My dog's been at the door too, sniffing under it. Like I can hear him sniffing under it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I had 6 jobs. Got fired from all of them.
What?
I've only put in my 2 weeks once. Yeah.
No.
We don't.
How many jobs was that, Ashkan? Because Eemon said 6, I think.
I've had I think I've had 3 or 4. No, it's hard. Yeah, I think it's 3 or 4, and only one of them I got like Eemon, I got fired from all of them. Okay. But yeah, only one of them I was only able to put my 2 weeks.
And why'd you guys say you feel like you got fired? Just non-interest or just?
Yeah, definitely that. It's more just.
Or you were just being immature kids and
I was definitely immature for sure. No, I was definitely immature. That definitely had a lot to do with it. You know, I was a hothead. I didn't take orders well. And I guess that's something I say I learned from my brother. Yeah, probably just that.
That's cool, man. I mean, you guys, have your own business and you guys are successful in my books. I think, are you guys both happy? I mean, with things? Because to me, I always say success to me is happiness. So,
yeah. I mean,
right.
Yeah. So there was for sure. I mean, I'm definitely happy. I live on my own. I'm able to provide for myself. There was a period in my life where we had to provide for my mom as well. And that was okay with us. And that all came because of the business. So I'm happy. Yeah, for sure.
What about Eemon? You happy with kind of how, I know COVID and all this stuff is this is a year of where happiness is hard to find, but.
Right. I was going to say that. Yeah. I think, yeah, extremely happy. It's provided, a very good life, if I'm gonna be honest. Again, that didn't come without difficulties and trials and tribulations. So yeah, very happy, and I think more so just blessed, especially right now. So yeah, but now we're just looking. We've tasted a little bit of success, and I think that's now where our new ideas and endeavors are coming from. Because like I said, we've tasted success, and now we want more. So we're trying to obviously accomplish that. So yeah.
That's awesome. So I'll kind of transition into, like kind of a couple questions, basically. Who would you say are probably like 3 people? It doesn't have to be exactly 3, but who are some people that inspired both of you guys? Do you guys follow, you have role models in business and life or anything where you guys just kind of take inspiration from, or, role models, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go ahead, or that's all you got?
Well, I was actually thinking, yeah. I don't want to sound like too cliche, but in their own ways, I think a lot of it, work effort and being like independent and handling a lot of things at once. My mom, entrepreneurial mindset and always being hungry and wanting more. Dad. And then in my situation, I would say my brother, because being in business with him, I've been able to like open my eyes and see like, okay, this is what I can do, and then this is what like I'm not good at. So if we can diversify, then obviously that'll make things better. But yeah, and then I just learned things from different people, like here and there, just regular people. I ask a lot of questions. So when I meet people, I ask a lot of questions, regardless of what business they're in. And actually, funny story, when we were opening the very first store, there was another store here in Tampa. I don't know if it's one of your accounts too, but they were running like a really good operation. And we don't have too many like mom and pops supplement stores here. So that was one of them that I had heard about. And they were also doing coaching for competing and stuff like that. So we hadn't competed yet. We were still really young. And I told my brother, this is when we already had the idea. I'm not sure if I had a location picked out yet, but I knew the idea. I think it was just an idea. So we ended up going. I told my brother, I was like, well, let's go there. So we went there, and I got to speak with him. And we hired him to coach us for our first competition. but like, not to be rude, but knowing that, I mean, you know, they weren't probably the best coaches, but I was able to A, learn more about bodybuilding, and then B, learn more about the business owning side of it. So every time we would go meet with him so he can assess us and change our diets and so forth, he was always really nice enough to answer a lot of questions that I didn't know about, you know, on the back end side of things. So that was one thing. You know, we got to sit in the back of his store, and I asked a lot of questions. And he knew. I told him that I had the idea. I let him know, you know, if we do it, it's on our side of town, which is a good distance from him, you know, at least 30 or so minutes. And so, yeah, like I said, he knew. And so I would just ask him as much as I could and kind of learn as much as I could. And sometimes he was hesitant to answer certain questions. So I'd just, you know, gather as much information or cheat if I had to and see what I could all pick up from him. But yeah, it's more so just a lot of, sorry, got disconnected. Asking questions. But yeah, to go back on the topic, not to sound cliche, but I think I've learned a lot from, sorry, I keep getting calls, from Jesus Christ.
It's so popular.
So yeah, I think I would say more so just each person in my family has offered something to me that I picked up from.
That's awesome. Ashkan, who would you say for you?
I mean, I've always said it's my brother. That's like number one for sure. And definitely, I mean, my answer is going to be exactly identical to my brother's because we both grew up in the same household. So my brother, my mom, and my dad. So seeing each one go through their own successes, their own failures, definitely helped, you know, put me in the position I am today. If I had to list someone else based off what I'm trying to get into now, as far as not just my business, I would have to say, sorry, my dogs are going crazy. Warren Buffett's a big one.
Okay, yeah.
You know, I watch a lot of his videos. You know, you got the obvious like Gary Vaynerchuk and stuff like that, but like I kind of stopped watching those because it's not that it's nothing bad or anything like that, but I just feel like it's motivational, yes, but it's like I'm the kind of person that I like. If I'm getting into something, I want someone that's involved in that can help with that.
Right.
So it's like
kind of more specific to the niche,
the industry,
whatever industry you're working on at the moment.
Exactly. So Warren Buffett, and there's a couple of different people on Twitter and stuff that I follow that kind of, you know, from time to time I'll ask them questions and they'll kind of respond. So nothing besides him. There's no one pretty big as far as name.
Well, that's a good segue kind of into the next question. Is basically like, resources. Like, where do you guys Google everything? Do you guys get on YouTube? Do you guys, you know, have a couple people you reach out to for advice, or like, you know, just for business? I guess we'll keep it at, kind of what do you guys use to learn from? Or
when we first started, we used our dad definitely a lot because I mean he's like the ultimate one. He came here from Iran with nothing in his pocket and basically started what he built. So my dad was definitely a huge part of our success and someone that we relied upon when we first started, for sure. And then obviously, like, you know, with like yourself, you know, you get connections, you know, open the doors, you get to, you know, conversing with people and kind of seeing their day-to-day life and their operations. And then you kind of be like, oh, that's pretty cool. You do that. Okay. Let me talk to you more about that. So, you know, with the stores, it kind of helped us build more connections. And then obviously, like you touched on, based on the YouTube and stuff like that, definitely has played books. You know, I read a lot. Those definitely are some valuable assets, valuable resources.
Yeah, I'm trying to read, man. I really am. I started doing more audiobooks.
Hey, if you're trying to get into trading, I have like 3 books like that I'm looking at right now that you should read.
I got the audio version.
No, you got to read it, man. It's got to be in your hand. But yeah, they have the audio.
I know. I need to read, really. I mean, I try every now and then, but my attention span to reading is terrible. I'm visual, so like I'm on YouTube all the time.
Eemon's the same thing.
Yeah, I'm big on that.
Yeah, I don't read.
Yeah, so Eemon, where do you kind of get some of your business resource from, or some of, you know, your learnings from?
Pretty much everything that you mentioned. But what I learned the most actually being in business is, to be honest, in my case, I mean, I don't read books, but I I feel it really doesn't matter how many books you read or YouTube videos you watch or all that stuff. I think you just, whatever it is that you're doing, especially in the business world, you kind of just have to do it. To be honest with you, you have to fail and learn from that. And that's the biggest thing. I do watch YouTube videos. I don't read. I don't like books. I do watch a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. And then, like I said, I ask a lot of questions. So if I meet somebody and they're kind of in the industry that I want to go, I ask as many questions as I can and try and learn as much as I can. But I'm a hands-on person, so I just have to get into it. I have to pretty much fail and then, learn from that. And that's kind of what I tell everyone, to be honest with you, because my personal opinion, I don't think like, the books and all that. I think you can get a general idea, but once you're actually in it, once you dive into it, I think it's totally different.
I think that's the biggest thing in life too, is just experience. At the end of the day, I mean, even that's what I love about being an entrepreneur too, or having that mindset, is that you really don't need a degree in business. You don't really need that stuff. I mean, if you just have experience in it, it takes time. Like you said, you can read everything. You can, I mean, I'm trying to learn drop shipping right now, and I've watched tons and tons and tons of videos on it. But when you actually do it, it is tough, man. And the only way you learn is by doing it and learning from it.
It's the same with the stock market.
Exactly. Stock market's the same way. I mean, you sell too quick, you buy in too late, you do different things. You don't pay attention to earnings reports or when the earnings are coming out, and you sell or buy right before, and you're not even realizing that, it's just so much stuff you learn. I mean, I've done that with a couple stocks where I've sold out trying to take some profits from it, not realizing that if I would have just waited one more month when the earning reports came out, the stock was about to soar. Celsius is one of them. Celsius, I didn't sell all of them. I wanted to pay off my car, so I was comfortable. I had a couple thousand in it, and I wanted to pay off my car. I had a little bit left on it, so I'm like, you know what, we're heading into the end of the year. Like, I'm comfortable with where it's at. I'm gonna sell some of it off so I can do it. Well, I kid you not, the next month, the earnings came out. They beat expectations by like 300%, and the stock rose like $10. I would have made like another $1,000, $2,000 if I would have just held on for one more month. So,
Yeah, that's happened to me.
But luckily, I'm not investing a ton of money, so it's like it's not like it was like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, but it hurts still at the same time.
We follow this guy. His name's Manny Hoshvin, and I remember one thing he said that I kind of like resonates with me is you can never go broke taking a profit. So you would have made more, but at the end of the day, you took a profit.
And I was comfortable with it, and that's the biggest thing I've learned from like reading things is like, as
it's
long
a
as
lot
you're
of gambles.
okay
I'll tell you one thing. So I invested in a marijuana stock like 2 weeks ago, actually. Yeah. No, dude, it's got I got in on. I read the chart. I kind of like figured out my entry point, put my stop losses and stuff like that. And I'm not kidding you. That thing within like 3 days, I got up to like 250% return.
Oh my God.
But I had an idea or a vision like where I thought it would go. I was like, what, I'm not going to sell it because I think it's going to hit this. And I shit you not, I don't know if we're allowed to cuss. I'm sorry. It plummeted. It went way down. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. I bought cannabis. I bought in cannabis like 2 years ago. It was one of my first things. I'm like, oh yeah, it's going to go up. Oh my God. Did they crash like crazy? I lost some money in those. And again, for me, it was money that I didn't really want to lose, but luckily I gained in enough other. That's why you diversify, and I gained enough in the others. So,
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Yeah, but all the ones that I have now are long term, or at least.
And that's how I want to do too. I want to do dividends. I want to do long term. I'm not into too much day trading and stuff like that.
No, I want to get into day trading for sure.
Yeah, you do? Man, that's so scary. I don't know if I have the balls for that.
It's a risk, but I feel like it could be potentially a big reward.
It can be potential big. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me move over to seeing kind of like now with you guys being, again, brothers in business. I think it's pretty cool to point out the fact that when I asked you guys kind of like who was influential to you, you guys both mentioned family. So again, I just want to kind of wrap things up with the family aspect of it. I mean, explain like that, like what the feelings, I guess the emotional side of being able to do this with family. And again, you mentioned like family is obviously a big thing to you guys because you mentioned those have been the influential people to you. So again, I think that's a big part of the story, right? Is just kind of you said your dad, came over with nothing. So I mean, how has that meant? Like, what has that meant to you guys? Just kind of emotionally, or on that level of it.
Well, I mean, like he always instilled like a work ethic into us. You know, however we wanted to make money, we always typically had to do something, to earn some money. And but I think, yeah, like I said, with me, from him, I learned the entrepreneurial like mindset of wanting to do things for yourself and so on and so forth. Um, and then from my mom, just the work ethic, because they actually worked together. So my mom worked with him pretty much full time, and then she would come home, cook, clean, do everything, and get up and do it again the next day. So they actually relied on each other. I would actually say probably my dad actually probably relied more on my mom actually. So we kind of grew up like seeing that. But like I said before, the family side of it is tough because I also saw and still see a lot of families, that it doesn't work, or friends that it doesn't work out. Because what I tell people is, it doesn't matter how much you love somebody or trust them or whatever. Money's a different animal. Money changes people, everyone. So I think, yeah, we've just been really lucky. And I think the main part of it is just being willing to learn from each other, and that's one of the big things.
And I admire that. I definitely do. Like I said, I admire that fact. Ashkan, kind of what's the emotions, if you can kind of like look back now and just look back at the road where you guys are today. Again, what are kind of the emotions that you feel with being able to do this with family?
It's been a blessing. So, and that doesn't come with its, rocky sides, of course, like with anything you get into. But the number one thing that I can say is being in business with my brother. But I mean, I just got lucky is the simple trust factor. I know, he's doing what he feels is best. Because, being that we have two stores, we basically like, I run one store, he runs the other. I don't have to worry that he's doing something or running that store to the ground, and neither he doesn't have to worry about mine either. I mean, we always are talking on the phone regardless, so we know what's going on. But it's mostly just the trust factor and knowing, we're both doing something to help each other out. So, we don't typically do something without keeping the other in mind. And, so yeah, man, but it's number one thing, it's been a blessing.
That's awesome. I got two more questions to end the podcast with. So, first question, both of you guys can answer this, will be basically what sources of revenue does the store have, basically? So within your business, where do you guys kind of pull profits from? Like how have you built kind of that business? Where are the profits at?
So obviously we have the retail side of things, which is where we work with you on. We do the supplements and all that. We have the smoothies, food, which I would say that's probably the majority of the business. And then we have the coaching, that's great because that's just pure profit. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it has multiple sources. And I think what's allowed us right now with the whole world of e-commerce, what's allowed us to stay in business and relevant and all that is the service side of things that we offer, which is, the smoothie, the foods, and then the coaching. So
Yeah, I think again that's another big reason why I think you guys are so successful is that customer service aspect of it, that experience that you give people, and just the constant trying. Again, this is just what from I noticed from the outside is the constant, keeping things fresh, the constant trying to, find new things. Like that's the biggest thing I think some people get, or some business owners get stuck in, is being scared to like try new things. I mean, I deal with other stores just like you, and the difference is you guys are willing to try new things, and you guys, every business almost that's willing to try new things or give things a shot tends to be more successful than the ones that are still ordering the same product from 20 years ago and haven't added a new item, and it's just those little things.
That's the mistake we made our first. So when we had our first location, we carried what we wanted to carry, like, oh, we need to carry this pre-workout because I really like it. Or Eemon would be like, we need to carry this because I really like it. And we didn't really have like the customer's mind, in it. So that's kind of one of the errors that we made at first, but we kind of learned from it. Now every product we carry, we do our research first, obviously, before we bring anything on board, but we also get feedback from the customers, and we genuinely value that. And we're like, hey, what would you like us to carry? Okay, cool. So we'll go from that, and then we'll kind of see what's out there on the market, and we'll bring that in. So we're very unique in that aspect, that we actually do listen to our customers.
And I think that's, again, a big reason why you guys are successful with it. And then let's wrap up the podcast kind of with some advice. Again, I'll ask Eemon, you can start first. What are 3, if you want to give advice, but 3 tips for somebody that wants to start a business, basically, that's young, maybe in their 20s, like, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be cliche or whatever. Just kind of 3 things. Because now that you can look back, you did it. You've opened a second location. Again, I would say you guys are successful in my eyes. So what are 3 tips for somebody just starting out?
The first one is, you just have to do it. Right. I think a lot of people have the idea and they think they want to be entrepreneurs and stuff like that. You have to like just do it, because a lot of it, like I said, is ideas, but a lot of people are scared because they have a 9-to-5 or whatever it might be, and then just that transition is very scary. The second thing is just don't be afraid to fuck up, don't be afraid to fail. It's gonna happen, and I think when people think about that, that's what kind of scares them into not doing it. But in reality, that's actually how you grow. I don't know if that's cliche or not, but it's the truth. And that's how you grow. It just depends on how you rebound from it. So, and how you adapt. I think that's the main thing. It's just, and no matter who you are, you could be Warren Buffett, you're going to still mess up. You're going to fail. But it's just how you rebound from it, how you adapt and grow, and to not hopefully make that mistake again. And then the third thing is expansion, always. And that doesn't necessarily mean other businesses or something like that, but how you can grow your business constantly, different sources of income even within that business. And I think that's a huge thing.
I think that third tip you just said is like a big part of it too. Like you said, so many people get stuck in like thinking they can only make money one way in their business, and say COVID happens, say something like that happens, and they have no idea where to go because they never even were thinking about expansion. I had a couple people that were wanting to maybe redo their store or add to their store, and they didn't have time. And then when COVID hit, they already had that mindset, so now they had the time, and so they used that time. But it's the people that never even had that thought when COVID hit. It's just kind of, I had a lot of gyms and things that started doing virtual stuff, but they had already dabbled in it before, and now they really implemented it. So I think that's a key part, is expansion.
The number one thing I tell people is it's not bad to have a 9-to-5 job. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Because when people think of being an entrepreneur and having a business, something, they immediately think of freedom. But what they don't realize is that comes so far later, so far after. So
They
I
think
tell
it's
people, I'm like,
easy,
if you
right?
like your 9 to 5, yeah, if you like your 9 to 5, knowing when you're going to have to go to work, knowing when you're going to come home, you know, a lot of people knowing you have your weekends and holidays off or something like that. And then, or when you come home, you get to turn that off, you know, because you're not at work, you're not getting paid. Um, and I have a lot of friends that ask me, and I tell them straight up, at least in our situation, and a lot of entrepreneurs that are very wealthy now will tell you, like, you know, one thing that my dad did tell me is like, hey, don't expect shit revenue wise for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. And then it could be longer. And then the other thing is you know, I don't know how else to say it, but you know, I tell my friends just pretty much be prepared to not have a life for quite some time until it grows. And then you can get to the point where, you know, hopefully you could have more freedom, be more independent, because, and I think that's the number one thing is the fear. So when they're already in business and they got to do something else, they're like, damn, okay, I'm already here all the time or whatever. Now, if I'm going to do this side of it, or if I'm going to add this now, like, how am I going to do that? And it's just scared. And I tell them straight up, you know, work more, sleep less, to be honest. I don't know. That's just the honest to God truth. Obviously, when it's just one person, it's a lot harder. So I do tell people we were extremely blessed because there's two of us, even though we both were working a lot and everything. But in a lot of ways, there was two of us. So it wasn't always every single day, you know, 12-hour days at the store, because like I said, there's two of us. So we were able to kind of do like half days or whatnot. But still, yeah, it's going to be hard on your relationship, on everything. And I think it's that fear that a lot of people aren't willing to like dive in, or if they're already in it, expanding in some other way, having to, you know, redo that. And that's one of the things when we opened the second store, you know, me and my brother talked about it, like, okay, we're, you know, the first store was already, you know, successful to where, you know, we had employees, we were still working, we didn't have to, but we still worked there full time. But, you know, we were able to, like, if we wanted to go on vacation, if we want to take the weekends off or do whatever, you know, we were able to do that after, you know, a few years of already being there and building up the business. But then when we opened the second store, we're like, okay, we're starting over. You know,
Yeah,
here
back
goes
to the
the
grind. Yeah.
50, 60, 70-hour weeks again. And that's just something that we're both really not afraid of, because, you know, with the hard work and stuff, you know, in the end, the outcome will hopefully be, you know, obviously more income, but then you get your freedom and your, you know, independence or whatever you want to call it.
No, it's awesome. Ashkan, what tips do you have? What would be your tips?
So a lot of them, my brother kind of touched on, so I'll kind of go a little different. First, I would say make sure it's something you're passionate about. So don't just have it to where you think, oh, just because you're an entrepreneur, you're going to make a lot of money, because I can tell you that's not the truth. If it's something you're not passionate about, you know, don't do it, because you're not going to look forward to it. You're not going to be innovative. Like, it's just not worth it. Two, I would say something that I wish I did before is, you know, build relationships with people in market. So kind of see, you know, ask questions, see what's out there, see what you can do. That way you don't do the fuck ups like my brother and I did. And you could kind of potentially go from the ground up and start from the ground up and hit it running. So, you know, build connections, find people like that are in the industry like my brother and I kind of did in our own ways, and see, you know, what you can do different, essentially, if that's something you're trying to do. And then three, shoot, dude, just expect to work really hard and not have a life for quite some time, if you have the work ethic and drive to do so. Because if you don't, then unfortunately it's probably going to fail. And I'd hate to say that, because, you know, small businesses are, you know, the bread and butter. So, you know, I would hate for a small business to go under, but like, just expect to be working your ass off. You know, it's not easy, and it's not for everybody, but if you put the time, you put the effort, and you give it everything you got, there's a lot of benefits to it. Believe me, the impact that we've had on the community of people, there's just no like words that describe how amazing that is. So it's a lot of work, a lot of drive, but it's definitely worth it in the end.
That's awesome, guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time this morning to be on the podcast. I think again, to kind of wrap up or summarize kind of some of the things here, it would be, again, it's work. It takes time. It's effort. It's work. But the reward is so much more. Like you said, a 9 to 5, you're dependent on raises. Basically, if you have aspirations of financial freedom or getting to that point of being able to kind of do what you please, yes, a 9 to 5, you have your hours, but you're dependent on trying to get a raise. You're dependent on trying to do certain things. Where it's, as an entrepreneur, you grind super hard. It's those first few years that make or break people. And if you can get past those first few years, like you guys, have experienced, then that's when things start to open up. That's when, things get better and that freedom, like you said, starts to come. So again, entrepreneurs, like it's not an overnight thing. And every single entrepreneur out there that's actually a business person will say that, it's
for sure.
It's not an overnight thing. I always grew up when I was, 10 years ago, I don't remember who said it, but it was somebody important. I know that. And their big thing was, a successful business breaks even after 3 years and then makes profit after 5. And so that's been that's always put like a timeline in my mind. Like it might seem like a long time, but in life, I mean, you might be at a job for 30 years before you can quote unquote retire. And our generation probably won't even have jobs to retire from. I mean, we don't. I mean, my parents retired from a factory, and my dad and mom both get a pension plan. So they're getting paid, monthly a pension. So that's just not heard of anymore. So our generation really has to leverage our incomes and leverage, just making money, because the dollar is getting less and less value. So just holding it in a savings account is not gonna be beneficial. You got to put that money somewhere. Real estate, stock market, more businesses, invest in your business. So no, I appreciate it, guys. I definitely think you guys gave some value to some people, and again, I think you guys are successful. So I really appreciate you guys being on. And who knows, maybe we'll have you on again sometime too, and we can dive into a little bit more stuff. I know we didn't dive into.
Yeah, hopefully next time we're doing some other things so we can have more to talk about.
Exactly. We didn't get too much involved in like, the personal stuff like taxes and all that stuff. But again, I guess we can just, one thing. Do you guys have an accountant for your business? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, again, I think all businesses should realize you need that accountant, man. That accountant probably saves your life for sure when it comes to taxes and stuff like that. But again, no,
it's good to delegate some things to other people.
Yeah, man, that's stuff you don't want to try learning, right? Because you let the professionals handle the taxes.
Exactly.
The taxes can definitely make. You talk about making or breaking a company or a business, then taxes will make or break you right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
But no, guys, I really appreciate it again. Thank you for being on. And again, that wraps up episode 2 of the Hustlepreneur Life with Eemon and Ashkan from Xtremebody Nutrition. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, man. Take care.